This is Ben at Truly Simple Solutions, and today we're just going to do a quick tour and show you some, very little of FlatRate Pro, because there's probably too much to show in this video. So this is the home screen. These are icons buttons you set up as quick links, so you can change these images and make them go to different FlatRate books that you might pre-set up. And then anything you set here will show up in FlatRate Go, the mobile version. And that's just an example of one of those. And we'll go to tasks. This is where you build tasks. So it comes with tasks already built in it, but they're just there as a guide to get started or to get you off the ground going. But then you can, replace them all or edit them as you wish. And these you can, select these. So any items that you add to a task can be linked. So when you go to the item, it'll go directly over to it and you can see it. And then you get a task breakdown, which shows the profitability of the task and your overhead, cost and stuff like that on the tasks. And then you get an ad breakdown. And in an ad breakdown, you can also, in preferences, you set what the default amount of the add-on billable minutes is. So as you can see, the task is 90, this is 68. So whenever you create a task, it will automatically create an add-on at the right price, or you can delete an add-on or customize that add-on by changing the billable minutes. And you can also override the price, the same that you can do on the task if you don't like the calculated price and you want to adjust it to something slightly different. Item miscellaneous and billable time lets you compare the billable time that comes from the miscellaneous. That's labor that's on every part, and then when you add those parts together, you end up with a total amount of billable time, and then you can compare that as far as building your task where it's 90 minutes, whereas the billable time, it ended up being quite similar in this case. ESP and benefits, that's extended service plans. If you want to offer those, you can have in preferences setting what it is as a percentage of the job, or you can override it on an individual one. And then footnotes that appear on the bottom of some of the printed FlatRate pages. Multi-column is generally for equipment installations for a special multi-column layout. And I'm going to go back to the home screen to give a quick view on that. If we go to, say, furnace installation, we're going to look at it as a browse. And you can see how this shows up where it's got your 80% efficient and 95% efficient in different columns. And to set up jobs like this, well, we're going to take this found set and go into task detail. So now when we go to multi-column, we're on those, and you can see this is where you link those other jobs. And so that's basically the settings there and tasks. Now we can, of course, go to lists, which is a very useful area. This way it shows you, it always comes sorted as category, page name, group, and then custom sort categories. So it lets you put this in any order you want, pretty much. You can customize it. And you can also set it so that, like right now, it's set to not let you edit in the list so you don't mess things up. But you can set it to edit, so you can change and move things from one page to another really easily. And anything you look at in lists, you can go, wait, what's that task? And you can go into the detail of that task and double check anything you want or make a change on it and then come back to your list. So the forward and back buttons are quite good. Then this is the default sort, but then any of the list views you can click and just sort by the any of these columns, and it shows you. If you click again, it does a reverse sort. So it's quite handy and easy to use. Then you also have the table view, which is going to give you even more fields that lets you look around and see things in different ways, because that's a lot of times when you're working with large data sets, you're trying to organize your book. And here again, you can use the sort. It's there, and you can add other fields into this. So if you're trying to look at some other information, you can. So the table view is quite handy, particularly when you're in items. Now it goes to the list here for items, which is parts, and table view for that can be useful. You can add related things like vendor pricing and things into your list so that you can do things there. And we'll go back to the list view for items. And of course we can go to the detail view just by clicking this as well. So there's items, you've got assemblies. We can find a couple assemblies here. I'm going to use a shortcut, which is Control F or Command F, and I just want to find any that have an assembly number. So I'm typing the wild character. That brings up all the assemblies. And then, so this is an item called mini split single 115 volt 15 amp 3/8, and then that, with that item, has these items built into it. And we use these on equipment installs and things where you don't want to have a long list of parts, and the same install might use the same parts in it as the other jobs. So you can just then add this one item into that task, and you can see a task that uses this part because those are linked as well. And we could go into, say, this Burnham, and you can see that I've got these parts packages: boiler hardware, gas electric, etc., the boiler itself, and yeah, so that's how those items come in handy. And let's see, so yeah, you can see the tasks that are there. Then vendors, you can show, it'll show a list of branches, any branches that vendor has. You can add as many as you like. And then if you want to go into the detail of a branch, you can click that, and then you'll see you've got your main phone number, fax, etc., and then all your contacts, the people who are at that branch. You can zoom in on them in a sense, and then if I want to go directly to this contact's record, that takes you right over to the contacts where you've got more information, additional details that you might have on that contact. Then your typical stuff that you'd want to track on vendors. Then any of the items that are carried by this vendor are going to show here, because you would link your items by this section right here, which I forgot to show you on this. Suppliers, you can mark which suppliers sell this item. If you have barcodes on items, you can scan those in, and from a particular vendor, and in an upcoming version we'll have an inventory module that will allow you to create your own barcodes. This example one was scanned in because one of our clients uses Ferguson for their supply, and they wanted their labels to show the barcodes. So then they print them on the labels, and then all the labels in the truck have those, and then they can order the parts in that way, which is quite handy. HVAC details go here for HVAC parts, and item labor gets set up here. So then back to vendors. So it's back on our list view. We can look at the other branches, and again you've got the contacts. Then your clients you can set up, so you'll be one client record, so that when you do jobs and quotes, that's why you would have your clients in here, and you can import these from your previous system. Each client can have as many phone numbers or other contacts like a Skype or some other thing like a Twitter or whatever you want to have for the clients. You've got notes. You can set the client's terms. You can link additional contacts to a client like this, and then any quotes that have been done for that client are going to be able to be linked directly, so you can zoom straight into a quote that was given. So if you're trying to follow up on different things, you can do that. And then the same thing with invoices. So if there's any invoices there, whether they're paid in full and that type of thing, you can see that. This is not an accounting program. However, you see we have a QuickBooks posted thing here. This is an upcoming module where it will integrate with your QuickBooks in Windows. Now, the program works on Mac and Windows. Mac users can run Windows version of QuickBooks as one way to do it as well. So quotes, we've got several videos showing the quotes, but generally they're done in the field on iPads or iPhones. I'm going to go show all quotes and go back to the first record, because that one had an example. So this one shows you can split things out into subcategories and then check off what the customer wants to buy while you're on the job, and then what gets checked off when one clicks the invoice, then it creates that invoice. And this one probably already has it, which of course it does. But then we can go back and say, okay, that was sold on this invoice, and then this would be what was sold on the invoice. And you can see here the invoice is there, and you can collect signatures in the field and have your terms and conditions also on there. Okay, and then we've got a few other things. Of course, you've got preferences. I'll come back to that. Price guides. In the field, on the iPad, iPhone, there's several layouts. But we also, for printed, we've got these 1-column, 2-column, and various versions and different margins and such that you can utilize. Items, you've got the item inventory book barcode. Now we're not looking at all the records at the moment, so we can say show all items, and then you'd see here you've got like a little book to be able to show what's on hand, use it for inventory counts or issuing truck stock to a technician. And okay, item bins. We've got different bins in the trucks is what this is about, and you can then put an image that links to it, but you can also go into the bin and see, okay, what parts do I keep in that bin? And then you're able to use this, and this is even before our inventory module, which will go into more detail on this, but it allows you to manage, you know, your bins and what's in the bin, and have an image for the bin, so that you can see the layout to make additional trays or bins for your trucks. And so you could just pick any particular bin and see what parts are stored in that bin, and you know, it really helps you organize your truck well. And other item reports, inventory book, we talked about that. There's labels, and then there's the drill down inventory reports, where that we've got here. Wait, I should probably go from a different way to this one. Let's just go items, equipment report. Okay, so then if you have equipment, then it'll show as the manufacturer that you have, say, a particular product. So there's a bunch of American Standard stuff. Then I can see, oh, there's air conditioning, electric furnaces, heat pumps, line sets, rooftop package units. So let's say we're going to look at heat pumps, and then even within that, I can go and it drills down. And now at any level of this, I can of course go into the item itself, but I can come back here and say, well, I want to look at the item detail of these all together, or I would like to look at the subcategories broken out. So you can move amongst these right here. And this I call the drill down reporting. So reports like this are quite useful to help you organize your stuff. And we've got a few vendor reports, quotes. There's also quote follow-up list. So when you've got people giving quotes, you've got a place here where you can see there's just a few examples where I used it. Date, next follow-up, follow-up type, and whether the follow-up was made. And the technicians in the field have this, so if they go out and do that, it will update here by the different technicians. Same as if you're looking at the invoices by list, you can see there's most of them on the top. There's a big section where I've got all those. So you can see it's broken out by the employee, and it shows their average invoice and how many hours they billed. And you can, of course, find for any given period and see the detail of this in that range. Example would be if I put in date, and then I just said, now I don't know the dates that are on this. If I said 01.01.12 ... to 01, no, 12/31/12, then it brings up that range so that you've got, you know, what was done in that period of time, and it would be on an individual. So reports, we also have other reports up here. And then we've got sales reports. Now that we haven't done any total sales for today, we could see if there's any been done this month, any samples. Yes, there has. And then it's going to show you a little mini chart at the top, and then you can look at summary or detail. So this would be the summary, and we were looking at detail, and you can see the billed hours and the average invoice for that period. And if you click the chart, it'll actually open the bigger chart, so you can see that more clear, and you can print these out if you like, put them up on the wall. There's several. You can do your own report, whether you put custom dates, or you can look at any of these pre-existing ones. So that takes care of that. And then we've got over here, image pages are useful in the field or in printed books. These were originally implemented for printed books to add these pages and insert them inside of the pricing book. For example, if you were talking about expansion tanks on a water heater, your text can then show this page and reference to it, or this page. And then on the iPad, it's the same thing. You've got this here, and they can show it and use it. And then you've got task standards would be what are the standards for when you do a job, as far as what are the workmanship standards, and these can be used as a sales tool to the customers to kind of show them exactly what's involved when you do a job, so they can understand, oh, okay, that's great. And then last of all is preferences. This is where you set up, you know, your logo and stuff. You set up your operating costs you've got for different departments, and what your default department is, and basically all of your different costing, your add-ons, what percentage less, like we showed that in the beginning, each time you create one, default tax rate, etc. Your items, whether you're using a sliding scale or you're going to be using a percentage across the board. And then your extended service plans, if you're going to offer them, to display them or not. And then you can customize the color of your install book separate to your service book. Both this also, as far as the iPad and the iPhone, what you set here will sync with FlatRate Go. So when you make any changes here, the next time they sync, this stuff will show up. So it gives you a way to just immediately change your book or what you're going to show or not show. These are what gets displayed on the price guide pages. Some of the page footer settings, you can set a copyright for that period. So like obviously this is out of date, so you might say that the prices are good till 12/31/2013, or since we're coming up soon, we might say it's going to be good till they're good, prices are good through March 31st, 2014. Quotes, it lets you choose what background is going to be on that quote that you give, whether you want a formal one or standard, or the paper bag, legal pad, or the banana paper, or the famous paper towel, because it's originated as the paper towel close. Invoices, you can put your terms and conditions. You can set your next invoice number in the office, and whether the invoices are locked on authorization or acceptance. You can enter in what payment methods you accept. Items, quick links, this is where you set up the buttons that appear on the home screens, and what these appear on the home screen in FileMaker Pro, FlatRate Pro, or in FlatRate Go on the iPad and iPhone. And then other settings like the types of terms you offer to your clients and other things like that. This is where you set up your employees and their user accounts. So everything is secure. It's encrypted security with the passwords, and you issue those so that people can, your techs can access just their data, and no one else is going to be able to hack into your system. And then this is sort of an administration thing to upload the file, to share it, and have other computers propagate the settings that you've put together here. And last but not least is, of course, the documentation section. It's built in. You can get in here and see a recent video, like installing FlatRate Go on the iPad for the first time, and all of these videos can show up just like the one you're watching. And then you can go back to other videos or other help documents, like hosting my files, and you can see right there. And if you wanted to also put in a support request, you can do that right inside FlatRate Pro, so that you can get some help that you maybe don't see on there at the time. So thank you for this extended tour of FlatRate Pro. There's a visual one on FlatRate Go.